Alexandra Sleator, Career Accelerator, and today is a very big day, Friday, April 29th, the date of the royal wedding here in London. Did many of you watch it? Ladies, did you think that Kate looked gorgeous? Anyway, as promised, in this video I will be giving you some tips on how to deal with conflict. And that will also give us an opportunity to practice this three-step model that I shared with you during the last video. What do I mean by conflict? I mean a situation where somebody is criticizing you very harshly. And in particular when that's done in public, that can be quite upsetting and embarrassing. Or when somebody is disagreeing with you in a meeting vehemently and putting you down. And again, because there's others around watching, that can make the experience all the more difficult and upsetting. So how to deal confidently with conflict when in fact you feel yourself getting flustered. And let's see how this three-step model can help a little bit with that. So remember the first step, listen. And to listen, in a situation of conflict, the first thing that I would suggest you do is count to at least 3, possibly 5, in your mind. That's what I call the air conditioning of your mind. Breathe into it. And what I also mean is try to ignore the person and focus on their message. Don't start thinking, this guy's horrible, this woman is a pain, I hate this person, they're so difficult, how horrible they are to me. Because if you're doing that, you're not listening. You're not listening to their message. And yes, it has a very smelly wrapping and a very awful packaging, which is that aggression that you have been receiving, but the message is inside, and that's what you need to focus on if you're really listening. To show that you're listening, acknowledge. Say, I can see we disagree. Or say, I can tell that you're not happy with the quality of my report. When you acknowledge, you're not agreeing. You're not taking anything on board. You're just showing that you heard what the person had to say. And when a person is aggressive, actually sometimes it's difficult to make out what they're really saying. Their message can be quite a bit lost. So don't hesitate to ask for specifics. Remember that in the three-step model, I encourage you in the listening stage to ask questions to build rapport. So don't hesitate here to ask for specifics if you're not clear what on earth the person is raving on about anyway. So with conflict, air condition your mind, acknowledge and ask for specifics. And hopefully you'll get to a situation where you will have built rapport, you will have relaxed, and you will have established the relevant topic at the end of step 1, the listening stage. Step 2, say what you think, was what I explained to you last week. In the case of conflict, it's, I think, interesting to consider a bit of a variation. And instead of saying what you think, say what you feel. But be careful how you do so. You don't want to say to the person, you're upsetting me. Because then they could say, no, I'm not upsetting you. And you could in fact escalate into a much bigger confrontation, or at least a sterile debate about who's upsetting whom. Say something more like, when you speak to me like this, I feel myself getting upset. Because nobody can dispute what is going on inside of you in which you are describing. And you're owning your feelings. So you're also coming across as self-empowered and self-respectful. And that will contribute to making you stay calm in the face of somebody who may continue, in contrast, to be flustered and to be aggressive. Especially if the aggression has taken place in public, if you're calm, you are really creating a contrast between your aggressor and yourself, and hopefully you're giving that brute the incentive to also calm down and take the conversation to a more civilized level. If you've been cornered in an office, it's less clear that the person will calm down, but it's often disarming to be faced with candor when we are all flustered. So if you stay calm and you acknowledge your feeling and you put it out there to the aggressor, the impact that he or she is having on you, there is a good chance that it will contribute to at least deflate them a little bit, if not totally. So that's the point of having this bit of a variation on the step 2, the say what you want, and here, say what you feel in a situation of conflict. Before I go on to show you how to work step 3, I just want to pause briefly and say thank you. Thank you to all of you who have been watching my videos since I launched them at the end of January, and who've been writing to me, commenting, and having words of encouragement. This is a new venture for me, and so your support and interest is very meaningful, and so really I wanted to say thank you. In addition to saying thank you, I want to show you that I am grateful, and so I was trying to think of what gift I could have for you in response to your support. And what I thought is that from this month on, every month I will have a specific offer, a gift, for one of you watching the videos. The offer will not be anywhere else. I will not publicize it on LinkedIn, or I will not show it on my website. And the offer is the following. It's a session, a free session, completely free session, no obligation, no small print as they say. A free session for you on the topic of the month. So this month it would be on self-confidence. If you want to discuss the 3-step model or learn about the more complex and comprehensive model, Assert, or if you want to discuss dealing with conflict more, or how to influence people, how to persuade people who tend to be skeptical, all of these things around the theme of self-confidence. If it had been last month, it would have been about time management, and next month I will be talking about interviews, so the free session will be all about how you can prepare in order to be successful in interviews. So that's the only constraint, that the session has to be related to the theme of the month. I will spend with you up to 90 minutes so that we can really get some good work going. This is not something on the cheap, and it's, like I said, completely free for one of you, as a thank you from me for all of the great support and attention that you've been so kind to have for my work. So I hope that you will be interested, and I look forward to any takers for this month. Now let me close the dealing with conflict tips with step 3. So step 3 is say what you want. And in a situation of conflict there, we have 2 options. Because it could be that the person who has been so harshly criticizing you has a point. Yes, they didn't package their feedback in a very constructive way, but you can detect, because you've been able to listen, that there is something there of substance. In contrast, it could be that the person is completely raving and ranting and you don't agree with any of what they have to say, or you don't want to do what they say. So let's deal with number 2 first. If you disagree, if you want to refuse, for example, if it's a request that they have, they want to force you to do something, then you have to erect a boundary. You have to very definitely say what you want, very succinctly, remember the KISS principle, with an explanation but without any apology. And you keep it as is. On the other hand, if the person has a point, some substance that you think you want to look at and follow up on, then make a proposal for a workable compromise. Say something like, now that I understand your comments about my report, how about if I send you a new version in 2 days? Or you could say, how about if we took this offline and we discussed it together so that we can revise the proposal? So a workable compromise in case you want to follow up, and in contrast, if you disagree, say so, say why, but keep it very short and simple. So that's how you express what you want, either in the negative or in a workable compromise at step 3 of dealing with conflict. I hope that this has been helpful. It looks deceptively simple, and again, when you practice it, it may feel a bit trickier. Let me know how you get on and where the hitch is. Let me know when you hit into one of the shortcomings of the 3-step model. Remember the free offer for one of you out there, 90 minutes of talking about what you want in order to get your self-confidence where you want it to be and contribute to supporting your career, but also, of course, self-confidence will work wonders in your personal life as well to deal with friends and families and all these tricky situations that we are always in and which can keep us up at night, really. So you will sleep easier with more self-confidence. I will look forward to hear from you, but in any case, I will look forward to seeing all of you next month, May. And the next topic, as I briefly alluded, will be interview tips. There's been lots of discussions on LinkedIn around interviews and how to be successful in an interview, and many of you have actually asked me as well for tips. So it seems very natural that I should talk about interview tips next month. So I hope you want to join me for that. And until then, thank you again very much for watching. Take good care and bye-bye.